Jay Mohr, actor, comedian. Check out Jay's new show, America's Lakers Podcast. This is the team's official podcast, available on PodcastOneSports.com, the new Podcast One app, and Apple Podcasts. Look at you, Jay Mohr. You're official. Good to have you back. How are you?
This is Coach Tony Bennett, and stat of the day, STAT. Somebody please hit a 3. Have a hat, everybody. Come on up.
How are you?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
I'm great. I'm happy to talk with Dan Patrick and crew. And let me tell you something. When that alarm goes off and it's for Dan Patrick's show, doesn't matter, baby. You go get it.
I like it. How did you become the official podcast of the Lakers?
Me and Aaron Larsoul were doing this podcast for Podcast One and Norm Pattis, and obviously you have to get the blessing of the team to be the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers. And I think there's probably, if we're speaking frankly, a little bit of a longer vetting process when it's me on the mic, because you don't want to endorse a podcast where the guy's going to go, "Hey, what's with the," say something awful. But it's look, it's Lakers basketball. It is the greatest show in town. I mean, last year opening night against the Rockets, that was a 17-win team, and I was listening to John Ireland on the radio here, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible!" I had knots in my stomach, and it was a half hour before tip-off, and it really hit me. This is the biggest brand on earth. Like, this is, it's Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees, and so to be able to do a podcast for A, my favorite team, and B, for a team where everybody's about 14 and a half years old. There's like 2 bar mitzvahs coming up at halftime. It's going to be great. Hey, everybody, let's have a round of applause for young Brandon Ingram. He's a man. Stat of the day, hit it, Trey.
How did you wait? Why are we on the Tony Bennett kick here?
Because Norm Pattis at Podcast One is obsessed with me doing Coach Tony Bennett. Remember, Coach Tony Bennett in Virginia took a knee because he had, I don't know if it was a mini heart attack. I don't want to say the wrong thing because it's medical. Do you remember that during the tournament?
Yeah.
Tony Bennett from the Cavaliers took a knee, and he was trending on Twitter for having, taken a knee. And then Tony Bennett, the singer, having zero knowledge of anything, just tweeted out, "Hey, I'm okay, everybody. It's all right. And come see me at the Bugatti Theater in Atlantic City. Oh, my gosh. This is called the 1-4 flat read. Clear it out, everybody. Brandon's going to the right." And that got about 15,000 retweets. His very next tweet was, "My heart goes out to Nancy on the loss of Frank Sinatra Jr., and that had 40 retweets. Oh, what a cruel mistress to social media.
Now, when you do a podcast as the official podcast, America's Lakers Podcast, do people want to hear the negative with the Lakers?
I think that's where I come in with my best discernible skill, as you remember from maybe radio or the More Stories podcast, is I don't have a lot of room in me for the negative. There's enough negative without creating it. I saw something on yes is the answer, but they're not going to get it here.
Okay.
I saw an article that the Lakers are ranked 7th in defense, but can they sustain it? And I just thought, why that one sentence? Why can't we celebrate a bunch of 21 years? These guys, this is a young team, far exceeding expectations. And it's exciting. Like, if this was a stock, Dan Patrick, the Godfather, the man, my man, you would want to buy Lakers stock if this was a business, if this was a restaurant, if this was a hedge fund. Warrior stock's going to give you about a 1% return, and for how long they can't promise you. This Lakers team, this is Coca-Cola stock in 1955. This ceiling, not potential. That's a dirty word, my man. Bernie Williams never had it. Gerald Williams retired with it. I don't like potential, but the ceiling on this team is inexplicably high, and I've personally never seen it in my lifetime in any sport, honestly.
But when I watched them last night, and I watch with reasonable expectations, and I watch Lonzo Ball with reasonable expectations, or Ingram, or Kuzma, or Clarkson, or Lopez. I don't expect them to be more than a 32-win team at most. But what you want to see is, do they pass the ball? Do they like Lonzo? Does everybody get together? Do they play hard together? Those are the things I'm looking for when I'm watching them. But people are going to watch Lonzo. If Lonzo Ball, nobody knew Lonzo Ball. Let's say he came in like John Stockton. Nobody knew who he was. He would be the guy that everybody is saying, hey, that guy Ball is pretty good. Like, he's a lot of fun to watch there. And he doesn't have that benefit. So when you watch, you still come away going, yeah, he was okay. Yeah, he did okay, almost a triple, but he's going to have that the entire season. And I think that jades the view of what we see with the Lakers. Your thoughts, Jay Mohr?
I wouldn't really want it any other way if I was Lonzo Ball. And look, let me make it really clear, Dan. Like, I'm not a guy that's going to put rose-colored glasses on everything. Like, the last episode we did, we got into the Julius Randle cloud that's been created, and the confounding, everything around this is just confounding that Woj goes out and talks about Julius Randle before tip-off. He can talk about anything. You talk about the weather in the Maldives or something, but that was the lead story. He won't be here. And you're like, why not? For $4.5 million, I'm going to ride that Jaguar until the wheels fall off, So I need that to be clear. Like, I'm not like, everything's great all the time. Like, we're pretty pragmatic when it comes to the team. Lonzo's got more assists than Damian Lillard. Look, I'm not saying he's as good a point guard as Damian Lillard by a long stretch, but he's got more assists than Kemba Walker. He's got more assists. Because I saw somebody the other night go, he's not an NBA point guard. Well, no,
that's
he is.
Silly. I even saw where somebody said maybe they should bench him. No, this is where you get to play him. You have patience with him instead of saying, "Oh, you got to bench him." If his confidence is low, which I do see a little bit of that, he's hesitant on the offensive end. Then that's a concern. But I want him out there. I just want to make your mistakes. Go play, man.
You have to shoot yourself out of not being able to shoot, But, yeah, I don't know if he's hesitant, Dan. The shot, in all fairness, does look like an oil derrick on La Cienega. So he might not be hesitant. It might actually be that creaking and groaning of... But, look, this team is...
Are you going to have LeVar Ball on the podcast?
No, I don't. He doesn't. I mean, I don't really. I haven't planned on it.
Okay.
It's not. Who does he play for?
He could play for any team, apparently.
Well, of course, I would have LeVar Ball on the Lakers podcast. I would love to ask. By the way, this is a kid. He's got. Well, one kid just got arrested in China, but that sort of throws the father. I think he's a very good father in a society where fathers are sort of hard to find, spot, come by, and hang on to. The fact that he's uber present sort of speaks a little more to him actually being pretty good at it. Is he like Rowdy Roddy Piper? And do you want him to sort of dial it back to at least a Don Morocco level of, yeah. But, I would love to have LeVar Ball on the podcast. Absolutely. I want those seats.
Get Kobe on the podcast?
Kobe, of course. What are you talking? I want you on the podcast. I'm looking at Dan Patrick.
I'm ready.
I'm not kidding.
Jay, let's do it. Get the tape rolling now. Let's do the podcast right now on my show.
I'm Al Pacino. Joining me is Dan Patrick and the Dan. Hello, Paulie. Yeah. Why can't you box out when the ball is in flight? Is it too hard? Brook Lopez, there's 8 minutes. Have a seat. Andrew Bogut, sit down. That sounded like Sandler a little bit.
It did have a little Sandler twist in there. He's Jay Mohr. Check out his new show, America's Lakers Podcast. Although I'm not big on that. It's just the Lakers official podcast. Like America's Lakers. There are too many S's in there.
Too many asses in the seats.
Yeah.
To take it up with the boss, let me tell you this, though. Aaron Larsoul, my co-host, is the most brilliant analytical mind I've ever sat next to. Wow. I'm smarter each episode, and I always feel pretty smart going in. And I give you my word, man, I'm not going to pull punches. This is my passion, Dan. I love doing this podcast. And it's like the Lakers now, Coca-Cola stock, 1955. If you don't want to buy in now, don't come at me in a year when everything's looking fantastic.
America's Lakers Podcast. That's sort of a working title. It's the official Laker podcast, available on podcastonesports.com and the new podcast app and Apple Podcast. Also, can you leave us with a little Christopher Walken there?
And of course, people don't realize you're at the free throw line. You're standing there, and you got to let the jackals and the hyenas know who you are. Shoot the free. I don't care if you're still in the shorts from the shower. Hoist it. Jack it up. Make it go through the net. It's crazy. Luke, I got it. Damn, Patrick. Yeah.
Hey, good luck with this. If you want me on the podcast, I'm there. Please say hello to Jeannie Buss for us, and I'm ready to go whenever you need me.
That's Lady Boss. Who do I get in touch with?
Paulie.
Paulie Papp?
Absolutely.
All right, I will, man. I love you, brother, very much.
Thank you, brother.
Smiling ear to ear.
All right, that's Jay Mohr. He's the official host of the official Laker podcast there.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.